The Nigerian fake media houses has claimed that Simon Ekpa will be extradited back to Nigeria by the 15th of July 2025. They went ahead to say that the law court in Finland has concluded and given verdict for the extradition of Simon Ekpa, whereas in principle nothing as such has happened. The lawyers are not informed and are not aware of anything. The international lobbies are not informed and they are not aware of anything like that. And then we are now going to dive into international laws to explain to you what the international law says about extradition and what is possible during this process of trying to request someone to be extradited to another country. Now, before we go into that, I want you to listen to Simon Ekpa.
How many people, not soldiers now, regular people have died?
They should give you that report. They are the government now. They should give you how many people they have killed, right? They are the one who killed the people, and all we do is to defend them. So they should tell us how many people, how many Biafra women and children have been killed. Because at least you have never had in any news, that Biafra Liberation Army invaded a village and killed everybody there, just like you see in the north and see in other parts of Nigeria. But the military are the one killing. We saw them how they kill people in the Onokoma community. They're born everywhere. Nobody is talking. So when they say that people kill soldier in Ukoma, nobody know what led to killing of the soldier in Ukoma. But you know what? Everybody was proudly saying, "Oh, the military will come and burn this." We don't want to be part of a such system where they will not go after criminals. They will come to where a crime was committed and they go after innocent people. That kind of system should be abolished, and that's what we are abolishing by pulling out Biafra from that.
Now, did you hear how Simon Ekpa answered that question? He first of all told you that these people will always attack. And then what he is doing is what? Self-defense. Defending the people of Biafra from these people who will always come and commit all manner of senseless minds. So what he is doing is self-defense. And there is no international law that is against self-defense. There is none. There is none. So you cannot extradite such a man. And if you follow, that's why I always tell people, I have said it countless times on this media. I said, be smart and intelligent with your reportage. Don't go about reporting things and just saying things vaguely, just like that. There is a process of saying things on the media. If you do not understand how to say things, then you shouldn't be on the media. I would always come here and tell you, this is what the Zoo military has done, this is what they have done, and what the military of the Biafra Liberation Forces are doing is defense, self-defense, and protecting the people of Biafra by chasing away and buying the people who have come to buy innocent people of Biafra. It has always been so. So in all ramification, what you are doing is self-defense. Self-defense. Now, let us look at international laws on extradition. So it says international extradition law is primarily governed by treaties, both bilateral and multilateral, between countries and the principle of reciprocity. There is no inherent international law obligation for a state to extradite a fugitive. The right to extradite is usually derived from a treaty or a common understanding between countries. Now, here is a more detailed breakdown of these principles of international extradition, treaties. One is that this principle is treaty-based. Extradition typically requires a treaty or agreement between the requesting and the requested states, outlining the conditions and procedures for extradition. So there must be a treaty between a requesting state and a requested state. Now, in the case of Mazi Simon Ekpa, there is no treaty between Finland and Nigeria for extradition process to take place. There is no extradition treaty. Now, let's go to the second point. The second point is reciprocity. It says that countries often agree to extradite individuals to another state if that state would reciprocate when a similar request is made. Now, this is another condition where they could place their leg on or hands on to try to request for extradition of the PM Simon Ekpa. But then there are other things that every country will look at before they can agree to extradite their own citizens. Now let's go to another point. It says dual criminality. Now, for a particular state to extradite an individual or a fugitive, there must be a common requirement. It says a common requirement is that the act in question be considered a crime in both the requesting and requested state. So for this dual criminality, the crime that the requesting state is, placing on that particular individual should also be a crime in the requested state. So in this scenario, the crime that Master Simon Ekpa has committed in Nigeria should also be a crime in Finland. So the question is self-defense a crime in Finland? Is self-defense a crime in Finland? That is the question everybody will want to ask him or herself, because what they did is to label PM a terrorist, whereas in the real sense, PM is never a terrorist and he has never been associated with any terrorist group. All he is doing is the defense and protection of his own people against the illegal occupiers of the Biafran territory. That is all the PM is doing. Another point is fair trial guarantee. Fair trial guarantee. The requested state may refuse extradition if it believes the person sought will not receive a fair trial in the requesting state. Now, this is another point that the PM would hold on to stop any form of extradition. Nigeria has been known for international laws violation, serious violation of international laws. One is the recent one that they did against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by kidnapping him from Kenya and bringing him back to Nigeria. There should be an extradition process. There should be a court that will now look into the matter and say this man, okay, he is qualified to be extradited back to Nigeria. But then these things did not happen. And in principle, Nnamdi Kanu is still in Kenya, whereas he is physically in Nigeria. So the process is flawed. The process is, against every international laws, and the process is a case of kidnapping done by the Nigerian state. So there has been series of, cases of violation of laws, both international laws and the state laws of Nigeria. So it becomes a problem in that regard. Another point is political offenses. There is a general reluctance to extradite individuals for political offenses, or if there's a risk, they will be persecuted based on their ethnicity, religion, or political opinion. This is another point the PM can hold on to, because Nigeria has been known for, persecuting Christians. One, they have been known for persecuting Biafrans. Two, the Biafra war is another case to be, investigated and brought up, to try to protect the PM. So there are so many things that the PM and his lawyers will use to protect himself. Now, another point: military offenses. Military offenses are also often excluded from extradition. Military offenses are also excluded from extradition. Then the last point is no compulsion. A state is not compelled by international law to surrender a fugitive. So a state is not compelled at all. No international law is compelling any state to surrender its fugitive or a fugitive or a supposed alleged fugitive. So there is no law that compels any state. So Finland can decide that they will not do anything, and they will not be breaking any law, because no law, compels any state to surrender anybody. That is what, my people, you need to know about extradition processes. Now look at the former president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan stating clearly how the Nigerian government always, stands against the rule of law. do not follow the rule of law and always, manipulate everything in their favor. And this will tell you how they will manipulate the case of Simon Ekpa if Finland tries to, extradite him back to Nigeria. And if Finland does that, then they are, culpable for every crime that the Nigerian government have been committing, because it is a serious case and it's a serious scenario. Now, listen to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
And of course, what is happening in Nigeria today regarding the situation in River State is like an Indian proverb that said that if somebody is sleeping, really sleeping, you can easily wake up that person. But if the person is pretending to sleep, you find it difficult to wake up that person. The key actors in Nigeria, from executive to the legislature, luckily Senator Binta and others are here, and the judiciary, they know the correct thing to do. But they are refusing to do it. They are pretending to sleep. And waking such a person is extremely difficult because the person knows the right thing. A clear abuse of offices, clear abuse of power, clear abuse of privileges, cutting across from the three arms of government, from the executive to the parliament to the judiciary. And I always plead with our people that whatever we do affects everybody. And sometimes we do things and we think that it doesn't affect us. I've been a president before, and even after leaving office as a former president, people get to me. Why is that our passport is not valued that much? Why is that Nigerians are not given the kind of treatment we're supposed to receive at the international airports? Sometimes we think it's because of Yahoo boys or 419ers. No, not only them. Yes, they are part of the problem. But whatever happens in a country, decisions that are taken by the executive arm of government, decisions that are taken by the parliament, judicial decisions affect everybody. For example, no businessman can bring his money to invest in a country where the judiciary is compromised, where a government functionary can dictate to judges what judgment they will give. No man brings his money to invest in that economy because we are taking a big risk. So whatever we do affects everybody.
So basically, in conclusion, Finland can never extradite Mazi Simon Ekpa back to Nigeria. The points, the evidences abound. They cannot do that. If they do that, then we shall hold them responsible for whatever happens to Simon Ekpa. Thank you for listening. It is Biafra First.